Hearts-Find 4 is one of my favorite games of all time, being World War II anger and strategy. And what better way to represent the game than to showcase an iceberg I found on Reddit for it. For those who don't know, an iceberg is a chart for different subjects, with the top being common knowledge on said subject, and the bottom being obscure knowledge on the subject. The iceberg comes from us from a deleted account on Reddit, and if you want to check it out on the original post, I will link it in the comments. So without any stalling, let's begin. Road to 56. Road to 56 is the most downloaded Hearts-Find 4 mod on the Steam Workshop. The focus of the mod is to overhaul the base game and to be able to bring more complex storytelling to your games. Road to 56 is widely popular in the Hoi4 community, with many people preferring it to the base game, and even spin-offs to the mod have even been made, such as the Road to 56 Roleplay Edition, that is mainly used for multiplayer games. Danziger War. Danziger War refers to the focus in the German tree that allows them to demand the province of Danzig from Poland. 90% of the time, Poland refuses the German ultimatum, which is why this focus is often tied to Germany starting World War II. 7-2 Divisions. 7-2 Divisions refers to the popular infantry template with 7 infantry regiments and 2 line artillery regiments, which makes it a 20-width unit. German coup. To be honest, I don't really know what this entry could be talking about. I think this could either be referring to a post-Hitler focus, in which you can overthrow the fascists and either go democratic or monarchist, or it could refer to how you assassinate Hitler and either give Goering, Himmler, or the Wehrmacht leadership of the Reich. Soviets can't win. Soviets can't win refers to the Eastern Front in Hoi4, in which 90% of the time the Russians lose the war against the Germans. I think this is the result of the AI unable to equip the army properly. Even after No Step Back came out, most of the time, the Soviets will still be on the back foot compared to the Germans. Meme achievements. Meme achievements refers to the Steam achievements of Hearts-Find 4 that Paradoxus came up with. Some of these include Bearer of Artillery, Duce Nuked Them, Once More Mate, Time is on Our Side, and Checkmate. Italy losing North Africa. Italy losing North Africa refers to the Italian AI's atrocious management of Libya and how it is lost a lot of the time. They would lose the land to Britain in the first year of the war, which is very bad. However, this is somewhat fixed in By Blood Alone, where Italy will actually hold Libya for a lot longer. World conquests. A world conquest in Hoi4 is exactly what it sounds like. Take over the entire world as a country. Man the Guns naval rework. Man the Guns naval rework refers to the DLC of the same name and how it did a rework on how naval functions. The DLC was notorious for killing the naval meta at the time, and many people still don't know how to use it to this day. Kaiserreich. This entry should definitely be at the surface level. Kaiserreich is probably the most popular alternate history mod in Hearts-Find 4. In this timeline, the US never joins World War I, and as a result, a massive German offensive in 1919 would win them the war. Because of this, France and Britain will both fall to syndicalist revolutions, with their original governments escaping to Africa and Canada. The German win would also see the White Army crush the Bolsheviks in the East, as Lenin is assassinated. By the 30s, America is on the brink of collapse, and many old rivals of the German Empire are looking to get some territory back. I can't cover the full Kaiserreich timeline in such a small amount of time, but that is the basic rundown of the mod. Tiny what? Yeah, I kinda have no idea what this entry could be referring to. I think Tiny what has something to do with the Soviets annexing the country. Subspam. Subspam refers to the meta of constantly constructing really bad submarines in the hope that they will amount and overwhelm the enemy at sea. Basically, this is the thought of quantity over quality. Border. Border refers to the horrendous borders that can come out of a peace conference in Hoi4. The reasons why such terrible borders are made is because a lot of the time, Hoi4's AI has no idea what to do, and they just grab random bits of land. Border is probably one of the main reasons why a player-led peace conferences is a thing. Border was somewhat actually fixed in By Blood Alone, as the AI is now less likely to make these terrible decisions. Hearts-Find 4 board game. On the 4th of August 2019, there's actually an announcement that a Hearts-of-Iron 4 board game is in development. Even a preview video of the unofficial board game would be released. However, shortly after the announcement, on August 12th, the creator of the board game would state, unfortunately, the Hearts-of-Iron board game project has been cancelled. It went through multiple designs and developments, but ultimately, we did not find a design that would fit the game that was manageable or enjoyable to play. German version censorship. The German version of Hearts-of-Iron 4 censors many things to align with German laws, like blacking out the faces of angry mustache men. I am the Senate. Once again, I don't really know what this could mean, but I assume it's something to do with getting the support from all 62 seats in the American Senate. Austria-Hungary. This entry could refer to the widely popular Hungarian path, in which you can reform the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Mutapua. I honestly have no idea what this could refer to. I think it has something to do with the South African formable of Zimbabwe. Trotskyist Mexico. This entry refers to how in the Mexican Communist Path you can get Trotsky into power. UK decolonizes after German Civil War. This entry refers to the problem a while back that whenever you do a post-Hitler, to balance the game, the British AI will go down the decolonization path. However, nowadays, this problem has been fixed for the most part. Republican Spain used to be communist. This refers to how, if you didn't have the La Resistance DLC, Republican Spain will be communist instead of starting out democratic. Rosa Luxemburg. This entry refers to how the communist name of Luxembourg and how it is named after a communist called Rosa who died in 1919. Japan owning Manchuria pre-Together for Victory. One of the more weirder features of Hoi4's release was Japan outright owning Manchuria rather than a puppet state being there. What makes this even more weird was that Manchukuo was a puppet state, whereas Manchuria wasn't. Luckily, this was fixed when Together for Victory came out. Tic-Tac-Toe mod. The Tic-Tac-Toe mod is exactly what it sounds like. It adds a mini-game to Hoi4 that allows the player to play tic-tac-toe against an AI opponent. Quisling. Quisling is a Norwegian Nazi collaborator who led Nazi-occupied Norway during World War II. That's pretty much all. I'm not too sure why this is here. HRE. The HRE, or the Holy Roman Empire, refers to how if you go down the monarchist path as Germany and do the royal wedding with the UK, when the royals die in the Hindenburg, you can get Kaiserin Victoria and reform the Holy Roman Empire. Great news. These are dark times. This entry refers to how sometimes with event newspapers, there will be two decisions to click off of the newspaper, with one saying great news and the other decision saying these are dark times. I'm not really sure what this means, but the best guess I can make is how your country would react to the event. Polynesian Empire. This entry refers to a New Zealand formable nation, and how for some reason the picture of the Polynesian Empire is the Arabian Empire photo. Space Marines. This entry refers to the very overpowered strategy of making a normal infantry template by replacing one of the infantry regiments with a heavy tank regiment. This one heavy tank would buff the whole unit and would make it blatantly overpowered. For this reason, pretty much every multiplayer game has Space Marines banned. Incorrect Ecuador-Peru borders. During July of 1941, Ecuador and Peru would go to war over territorial disputes, and this entry refers to how this war isn't actually in Hoi4. However, the reason why this probably hasn't been implemented is because if two South American countries went to war during World War II, Peru would probably join the Axis and ruin the flow of the game. However, the war could be part of a South American DLC if Paradox chooses to add it. DevDog. The DevDog in Hoi4 is basically the mascot for debug mode. For instance, in some versions of the game, if you open up a console, you can see the DevDog there. The dog doesn't seem to be anyone's pet at Paradox, but instead, it looks like it comes from an old meme. Tomike banned from ParadoxCon Twitch chat. Well, believe it or not, this actually kinda happened. During ParadoxCon 2019, the Hoi4 YouTuber and streamer Tomike was there. At some time, the event was also being streamed on Twitch, so people began spamming words relating to Tomike, and as a result of that, the word Tomike was banned from the Twitch chat. Order 66. Yep, once again, no idea what this means. It might have something to do with the Star Wars mod, But yeah, no clue. Men_handle programmer joke. The only thing I could find relating to this entry is a Reddit post talking about a funny Easter egg they found in the Hoi4 code. Generic portrait origins. Many of the generic leaders in Hearthstone 4 have got some interesting backstories to them. I won't go into it here, but if you still are interested, there are some great videos on YouTube that explain where these leaders come from. Multiplayer chat crash. This entry could mean one of many things actually. It could either be referring to hackers in Hoi4 lobbies that mess with the chat, or the big problem of desyncing in a Hoi4 game. Unused portraits. There are a lot of generic leaders and portraits that don't make it into Hoi4, but are still visible in the game files. One of the more popular of the unused portraits is Viktor Baidalakov. Imported nations. I think this entry might be referring to how you can import nations from previous Paradox games, like the Pirate Republic and Prussia. Equipment integer overflow. This entry might refer to a bunch of glitches that can happen to your stockpile and lend-lease in Hoi4. Motorized rocket artillery. Literally no idea what this could mean. Like I guess yeah, Katyushas are pretty cool. Fascist Malta name change. For those who don't know, the old name for Fascist Malta used to be the 10th Crusade, but Paradox has sadly changed their name now. George Orwell advisor. As Britain, if you go down the communist path, you can get George Orwell as an advisor. The only thing he does is give war support and communist support. Anime portrait mods. This entry refers to the Hoi4 Steam Workshop's abundant amount of anime mods. Emu Empire. The fascist name for Australian Hoi4 is called the Emu Empire, and it is a nod to the Australian Emu War. The leader of the Emu Empire is Rod Hull, who is a British comedian during the 1970s and 80s. Fascist New Zealand. Much like fascist Australia, the name for fascist New Zealand is called the Kiwi Empire. Sadly, this country doesn't have a meme leader. Big Bob. This entry refers to the super-heavy tank for New Zealand, and it is a play on the Bob Simple tank, being called the Big Bob. Sadly, the Big Bob variant in Hoi4 was kinda removed with the release of No Step Back and the tank designer. Adam Hilt. By going down the fascist US path in Hoi4, if the Germans have a civil war, there is a chance you can get a certain mustache man in charge by the name of Adam Hilt. This can also be done with other countries, like Senor Hitler with Argentina. Bicycle divisions. Japan and the Netherlands both have options to get the elite infantry bicycle units in Hoi4 by doing some focuses. Since then, bicycle battalions have gotten sort of a meme-like status in the community. Nuclear Gandhi. This entry could refer to the Nuclear Gandhi meme from Civ 6, or how it is very easy to get nukes in the Indian focus tree. Swedish-Hungarian Personal Union. This entry could refer to how, as Hungary, if you go down the Democratic King path, you can get an alliance with Sweden if one of you get into a defensive war. Well, that is it, all 5 levels of the Hoi4 Iceberg. It was definitely not perfect, as I probably got some things wrong, but I think the chart can still be improved. For one, many entries didn't make sense to me, like Motorized Rocket Artillery, Marapua, and Order 66. I also think a lot of the mods, like Equestria at War, were missing, and because of that, the Iceberg is kind of out of date. I'm really hoping someone tries to make an improved Hoi4 Iceberg in the future. Well, that is going to be it for today's video. I know it took a while to come out, and I hope you enjoy it, but other than that, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.